Mexico is still offering the residency via regularization program now in 2024. This is one of the best residency programs out there, also one of the easiest residency programs to obtain. So if you would like to obtain residency in Mexico, you are not going to want to miss this video. Now, I'm super stunned that they're still offering regularization in 2024. And I've confirmed that it's still on for now, but I would not be surprised if this program is canceled even by halfway through 2024. It's just too good and it's not going to be around forever. So if you are interested, watch this video to kind of get an idea, but most importantly, hop on it right away. We can help you. We can manage your residency application via regularization. There will be a link in the bio. You can order your residency with us, with My Latin Life. We'll take care of the whole thing. We'll take care of the whole residency process for you. Click the link, order your residency. Let's get to it because this will not be around forever. So you should absolutely hop on this program ASAP. With that out of the way, in this video, we're going to talk exactly about the process for obtaining residency via regularization in Mexico. We'll give you a little bit of a background on the program itself, how it came to be, a little historical context, which I think is helpful here. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty details of the process, the requirements, what you need to qualify, the logistics of how it's going to work, and yeah, basically everything that you need to know for Mexican residency via regularization so you can make a determination whether you think you qualify. And let's get straight to getting you this residency. Let's take action. Let's do it. So for some historical context, the regularization program came about in the post-2020 world where a lot of people were unable to go home to their home countries for reasons that you might imagine. And so a lot of people found themselves in Mexico overstaying their tourist visa, yet they could not go home to their home country, such as Canada, due to the travel requirements involved in returning to your home country. So people found themselves essentially stuck in Mexico. And I don't know who exactly decided this thing, but Mexico created this regularization program where basically if you had overstayed your tourist visa, if you were on an expired tourist visa, you could quote unquote regularize and receive Mexican temporary residency. This path to Mexico temporary residency is an incredible path to Mexico residency. And the reason being is that you'll be applying within Mexico, so it's easier in the sense that you don't have to go home to your home country's embassy where you hold legal residency. So you don't have to go home to Canada. You don't have to go home to the States to process this residency. And then another huge bonus is that you often, via regularization, receive 4 years of residency off the bat, which is huge because if you take the embassy path, the classic path to Mexico residency, you usually receive 1 year at the start, and then after 1 year, you have to renew it for another 3 years. So if you do the path via regularization, you usually get 4 years, saving yourself the renewal process. And with that 4-year residency, that brings you right up to the point where when that needs to be renewed, you'll be renewing for permanent residency in Mexico because you can get permanent residency in Mexico after 4 years of temporary residency. Make sense? So to summarize, the benefits of regularization is that you can do the process from within Mexico and you don't have to start your residency. The other benefit is you're usually given a longer period of temporary residence. You're usually given 4 years instead of 1 year. Now, what's incredible about this program, as I mentioned, is this came about in the post-2020 world, and the fact that this is still on in 2024 is unbelievable. A lot of the facilitators and lawyers in Mexico, a lot of the experts in the immigration world in Mexico really thought that this program was going to be phased out at the end of 2023. And in fact, they told me, they said, look, if you have any clients, November, December, just hold off. Let's see what happens at the start of 2024. Let's get the word. Let's make sure it's still around before you take anybody's money, right? And so I had clients that they were waiting in November, waiting in December, waiting for the word. And then now here in January 2024, we can confirm that this residency program is still on. It's still accepting people, and we can get you your residency still. Okay? So incredible that this is still on in 2024. We really thought it was a temporary measure due to post-2020, and really it is, and this program will be going away. This is sort of a ephemeral program, you could say, a temporary program. So that's, again, why you need to hop on this ASAP. So what is the process for Mexico residency via regularization? The following process is for foreigners who are quote-unquote irregular in Mexico and have at least one entry between 2015 and 2022. Now, if you are irregular in Mexico, meaning you overstayed a tourist visa, and you have one previous entry into Mexico between 2015 and 2022, those are the two big requirements for qualifying for this regularization program. Now, let's break each of those requirements down into a little bit more detail. The overstay, the irregularity in Mexico, let's go into a bit of detail in that first. So a lot of people think that they need to, receive a 6-month tourist visa in Mexico and then overstay a 6-month visa. And I get all these messages on Twitter saying, well, I don't want to stay in Mexico and then over for 6 months and then overstay that. It's just going to take too long. I don't want to stay in Mexico that long. Well, you don't actually have to do that. We've had clients, we've had friends ask for as low as 5 days, 7 days when they enter Mexico, and they've successfully been able to do that. And that's worked for people at different ports of entry. It's worked at the airport in Cancun. It's worked in Puerto Vallarta. It'll work as well in Tijuana at the land border. So by land or by air, basically, when you enter Mexico with the intention of doing this program, just ask for a shorter period of time. And you can even provide some documentation like a return flight in order to substantiate that you want that lower period of time. So just say to the customs person, hey, just give me 7 days. I don't want 180 days. Just give me 7 days. They might know what's up. They might not know what's up or why you need that, but in a lot of cases, people are having no problems receiving less days, so that should not be a problem for you. If it was a problem, you could obviously then just, if they, for some reason they were like, no, we have to give you 180, which would be weird, you could just leave Mexico again and then re-enter again and try again. So this is a solvable thing in terms of the overstay or the irregularity in Mexico. Pretty easy there. So hopefully that makes sense. And then the second piece of the requirements is one entry between 2015 and 2022. As I mentioned, really should be on your current passport. It's going to make things a lot easier. And kind of the idea is it's sort of feeding this narrative that you have a history of travel to Mexico. That's what we're trying to sort of prove here with the previous entry, is that we're trying to say, hey, this person, they have a history of travel to Mexico. They like Mexico. They're spending time here. So let's give them the temporary residency permit so that they can, flow easier in Mexico. So that's the idea of the previous entry. Now, if you meet these requirements, what you are going to get is a temporary residency for 4 years without work permit, meaning you'll not be able to work in Mexico, but you will have 4 years legal residency in Mexico. You will also be assigned a CURP number, which is sort of like a tax ID. Mexico has a bunch of different tax IDs. It's kind of more like a personal ID, I guess you could say. But anyway, a CURP, C-U-R-P, that will be assigned when you are issued your temporary residency. And this CURP serves to register individually all persons residing in Mexico, nationals and foreigners, as well as Mexicans living in other countries. So basically, any resident or citizen of Mexico will have a corp, you're going to get one as well. This will also provide you the opportunity to obtain a work permit independently if you do so want one through an RFC. The RFC stands for Registro Federal de Contribuyentes. That one's really more like the tax ID. It's a unique alphanumeric code that the Mexican government uses to identify individuals and companies that carry out an economic activity in Mexico. So if you do want a work permit in Mexico, it does not come with this regularization residency, but you could obtain one in the future, and we can help you obtain one in the future if you need or desire one. Now, at the end of the 4 years temporary residency, 30 days before the expiration date of your 4-year residency, we're going to renew you, and we're going to change from temporary resident to permanent resident. So after 4 years of temporary residency, you'll be able to switch to permanent residency, which in Mexico really lasts forever. It really is for life. Next, let's talk about the logistics. You're going to have to come to Mexico physically in person to complete this residency. A lot of people have been asking me, do I even have to come to Mexico? Of course you have to come to Mexico. There's no residency program where you don't show up. So yes, you will have to come to Mexico. We will tell you which state that you are going to come to. I don't want to reveal it here in this video, which state that we are processing these residencies in, because it is a little bit sensitive. But we will tell you which state of Mexico that you will have to come to, and we'll be able to process it for you in person on the spot. You will be getting your photo taken. You'll have an appointment at the INM office. You're going to have your hand held. You're going to have our Mexican facilitators working with you every step of the way. They're going to do all the speaking in Spanish. They're going to do all the speaking to the government officials and the representatives. So basically, they're just going to cart you around, and you really don't have to think too much. It's all taken care of, so don't worry about that. You just have to show up in person and look pretty for your photos. Now, regarding resolution time, resolution can take up to 2 to 3 weeks to get approved. When I may or may not have gone through this program, I only had to show up in person like one day. I think they did a bunch of pre-work where they had my information, they had my passport, and they registered it and all this type of thing. And so there was some pre-work that took place before my appointment, but I really only physically showed up at the INM office once on one day where they took my photo, and I think we got the residency card that exact same day, if I'm not mistaken. So we do like to tell people that resolution can take 2 to 3 weeks, and you will have to remain in Mexico during that time. Remember, you're technically overstaying a visa and this and that, and so obviously you will have to stay in Mexico until the resolution, which can take up to 2 to 3 weeks, but hopefully it could be less time as well. If we can do all that pre-work ahead of time, we can get you your appointment and we can ensure a smooth process. So next, let's talk about the requirements. You're going to need your passport, original and photocopies of the main page, photocopies of your previous entries into Mexico, so original passport and the copies. The second piece is you're going to need a proof of address in Mexico, so you're going to need a electricity or a water bill from Mexico. The company is called CFE. So ideally, you're going to get a CFE bill in Mexico. It does not need to have your name on it. You just need to get some sort of CFE electricity bill, water bill, some sort of proof of address in that sense. Maybe they'll take a lease agreement as well, but honestly, the electricity bill is much, much easier. It doesn't even have to have your name on it. It just needs to be any old electricity bill, basically. And then the next requirement is your tourist visa that is expired. So basically proof that you are on an expired tourist visa, as we've talked about in this video. So pretty simple requirements. Again, passport, proof of address, expired visa, and the previous entries, of course. So with that, you will have everything that you need to get Mexican residency via regularization. Again, one of the easiest residency programs in the world. You don't need a police check. You don't need a birth certificate. You don't need apostilles. This is insanely easy. This is one of the most incredible residency programs of all time, and I really want you to take advantage of it. So how can you order this program now? How can you place your order? There will be a link in the bio of this video or in the tweet or somewhere near where you're watching this video, and you should be able to order the residency directly with us. If you can't find the page to order it, you can look on mylatinlife.com under our services, or you can DM us on Twitter, and we'll happily get the conversation started there. Please remember that prices and requirements never go down. So if you want something, you better get it now. I'm serious. Order this residency ASAP. As soon as you place your order, we're going to get started right away. We will be in contact with you right away. So order your residency via regularization right now. Order your assistance with us, My Latin Life. We're going to handle the whole thing. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And hope you guys